Well, first of all, Minister, can I just say on behalf of the Labour Party that we want to show solidarity with you and with your family after the difficulties that you went through last week, and indeed with Minister O'Gorman. This is I would say, the inevitable consequence of people in political life and people with influence not tempering their language and making their case or their arguments in a more restrained manner. I would say, Minister, over the last period of time, it's quite clear that there is an impression the government is making this up as you go along. Yourself at the Oireachtas Committee last week made the contention that 80% of all asylum seekers coming into the state are coming via the north, and the Taoiseach has flatly contradicted you on that. And we can't seem to get any sort of figures or evidence or data to back up what you've said. In terms of the EU Migration Pact, as has been said, again at the Oireachtas Committee yesterday, there's quite a number of NGOs who are outlining their difficulty with the EU Migration Pact on the fact that they believe it will undermine some of the human rights implications of the Pact and the basic ability of individuals to seek asylum. And there's about 160 human rights organisations across Europe who have difficulties with this pact. There is no more, a clear illustration of the failure of government policy than what's happened in Mount Street. And Minister, it's impossible not to come to the conclusion that what happened on St. Patrick's weekend was a PR stunt. And again, today we have something similar. And again, the language, it's so unfortunate the language that's being used by the Taoiseach, who called it an illegal encampment. Now, that is not in any way the type of phraseology that the Taoiseach should use. If he was to spend some time down there, if you were to spend some time down there, you'd have a sense of the appalling conditions that are evident on Mount Street. I've spent a good bit of time myself down there. There was a movement of individuals around St. Patrick's weekend, but there are more tents there now, up until this morning, than there had been previously. So on the EU Migration Pact itself, the Labour Party finds it very difficult to support it on the basis of the undermining of the basic ability of individuals to support or to claim asylum, and the fact that this has come from the more right-wing viewpoint within the European Union. I would also say, Minister, that I think your job has not been made easier because, as I say, of people in the political system who are raising temperatures and raising tension and raising fear. And I speak in particular about the rural independents who consistently try to equate migration with crime. They do it at every attempt that they can possibly get. We had the appalling spectacle of one deputy from the rural independents making a speech to a number of people at a protest who said that we're being colonised. And then, even yesterday, the same deputy managed to equate An Garda Síochána with the B Specials in relation to a protest that happened in Newtown Mount Kennedy recently. I didn't hear anything from this group, or indeed I didn't see anything in the motion that spoke about attacks on An Garda Síochána or attacks on other elements within Irish society who are trying to uphold the law, including politicians. I find it, frankly, hilarious. I mean, this is the same bunch who wear their religion on their sleeves. But I, grew up with the tale of the Good Samaritan, when we were told to believe in and instinctively understand the humanity of people that we don't know or who are a stranger to us. But I find it, frankly, hilarious to hear Deputy Michael Healy-Rae complain about the millions of euro that are being spent on the system when he personally has gained 660,000 euro for the accommodation of Ukrainian refugees over the last number of years. And that wasn't declared to this House before his contribution. So I would also say to Sinn Féin that I was pretty disappointed again in their contributions today. And I have noticed a shift to the right when it comes to the issue of migration from Sinn Féin, who have previously presented themselves to the Irish people as a party of the left. What they have done or attempted to do in this Parliament is to go to the right of government when it came to supports for Ukrainian refugees, to change their view on hate crime legislation at a whim, which, in fairness to you, Minister, you've told me that you're intending to pursue, despite the fact that we've had 23 arson attacks against accommodation centres over the last number of years, and we indeed had a Croatian man beaten to death only a number of weeks ago because apparently his assailants were viewed his non-speaking of English as being cause enough to attack him. And of course we have members of the LGBT community who are in constant fear because apparently they are now open game in this new anti-woke culture that is being propagated by many people in this Oireachtas and beyond. And also a lot of the rhetoric from Sinn Féin in relation to the EU Migration Pact comes straight out of the far-right copybook across Europe. And I think everybody in this House needs to reflect on what kind of road they want to walk Irish politics down over the next number of years. Because if the atmosphere and the anger and the tension and the violence that I have witnessed over the last number of months is anything to go by, then we are facing a very, very dark chapter in Irish politics. So while it is completely legitimate to raise issues about the immigration system, while it's completely legitimate to talk about a rule-based system, it is not legitimate to dehumanise those who come here seeking sanction. It's not legitimate to link criminality with immigration. It's not legitimate to talk about loss of culture. It's not legitimate to talk about colonisation. It's not legitimate to equate An Garda Síochána with the B specials. And it's not legitimate to stand here and talk about the millions that are being spent in the system when you yourself have gained €660,000 over the last number of years for accommodating Ukrainian refugees.